Are you considering an Ireland vacation in 2021? If you are, I have all the tips you need to know before you make those vacation plans. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the Traveling in Ireland podcast. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. And I want to just take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Jody Halsted. I am an author, publisher, Ireland vacation coach, tour coordinator, and obviously your host here on the Traveling in Ireland podcast. That's a lot. But Ireland is my passion, and my goal, like 100%, is to help people have an amazing Ireland vacation. My book, Planning the Ireland Vacation of Your Dreams, is available on Amazon in both print and Kindle. And for those of you who have Kindle Unlimited, it is included in that library, so you can read it at no charge. My website, Ireland Family Vacations, is a complete resource for Ireland vacation planning. It's filled with information on what to do and see while you're there, as well as handy tips for planning your trip, how to get around, how much money do you need, where do you get euros, how to book the best flights for yourself, and how to rent a car. So much more. It is about 12 years old now, and I do my very best to make sure that all the information is up to date and usable the minute you land on it. Now, I also have vacation coaching services, and those are designed to help you maximize your Ireland experience. I do one-on-one calls, and I also do bespoke tour itineraries. So however you need help in planning your perfect Ireland vacation, I am available to assist. And then I also do a small group guided tour, 1 or 2 a year, that are designed to not only deliver that Ireland that you've been dreaming of, but to introduce you to the people and the hidden places that make the country so very, very special. On a more personal note, I have 2 teenage daughters, and I've been taking them to and through Ireland since before they could toddle. I have one very understanding husband who actually loves it when I plan other people's vacations because it means I am not planning one of my own. And I have one large, very fluffy dog who prefers that we stay in the US and travel by RV so she can come along. Now that you know all about me, let's jump into what you need to know as you consider planning an Ireland vacation in 2021. As always, any resources I mention will be linked in the show notes, and all you have to do to find those is go into your app, open up the show, and there will be a link at the bottom that will take you to the show notes page. Now, this podcast releases on January 14th, 2021, and as of today, Ireland remains in a level 5 lockdown through the end of the month, and they're talking that it could go longer. So if you were thinking that you were going to visit Ireland this spring, I don't think that's probably a very good idea to plan. Nothing official has been released yet concerning St. Patrick's Day, but there are reports coming out that those festivities will be scrapped, and government officials aren't actually predicting a return to normal in Ireland until May or June. Now, on the travel front, beginning this Saturday, January 16th, 2021, a negative COVID test will be required for all passengers arriving in Ireland by airline, by ferry, just however you come into Ireland. You have to have a negative COVID test taken no more than 3 days prior to your arrival. And those arriving from the UK or South Africa will also be required to self-isolate for 14 days, even with that negative test. Currently, there aren't requirements in place for anyone else to have to quarantine or self-isolate upon arrival. But as we've seen over the last year, requirements are changing quickly, and I have some tips to keep on top of that later on in the podcast. So, travelers to Ireland and really anywhere else need to do plenty of research when planning a vacation this year. A few specifics to keep in mind. If you plan to visit Ireland in 2021, I recommend making your reservations for July or later. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the government doesn't really expect Ireland to be completely back to normal and fully open until May or June. And I'm actually thinking it's going to be the latter part of that, just from other reports that I've seen coming out. So I just don't feel like you would get a terrific vacation experience until at least July. When you are planning, you want to book your accommodations early. Keep in mind that thousands of people have already rescheduled their 2020 vacations for this year. So you already have an influx of travelers that have been booked for quite a while. And a lot of accommodations are approaching their capacity for the most popular months of July and August because there are still restrictions on the number of hotel guests per number of rooms, per space, and all of those things. So if you have your heart set on a specific accommodation, book early. It's better to book it and then cancel it than to not book it and have to scramble to find someplace else. When you are doing your planning, go ahead and do some really deep research and make bookings. Now, it's just likely that there are going to be restrictions on the number of visitors allowed at attractions and visitor centers in the coming year. And while it removes the impulsiveness from your explorations, for those tours and sites that you really, really want to visit, I highly recommend making a booking if they take them to be sure that you are going to get that experience that you've been looking forward to. Stay current on rules and regulations. As you make your plans, be sure to research those locations you plan to visit, know what their rules are for visitors, and be ready to abide by them. When you are looking to book your flights, first of all, I recommend booking them early. And also, don't expect to find really amazing bargains. The airlines are working to entice you to book your flight, and you may find some deals, but it's more likely you're going to find very lenient change policies. Um, but you have to remember that flight routes have been reduced. There are routes that are no longer even available, and the number of flights into Ireland they've cut almost, maybe even only a third of them are flying right now. So just remember that there are not as many flights going, which means as people are able to travel or are comfortable traveling, demand will be up and supply will still be low. So book early. Don't expect amazing deals, but you can still look for good deals, and just know those change policies. I do have an article. It's called Booking Your Flight to Ireland, and it teaches you how to set flight alerts with 3 easy to use tools and offers tips on how to get the best airfare. So if you need some tips on booking a flight, that is going to be a great resource for you. Now, as you're thinking of where you're going to stay and what you're going to do, I really do advise staying fewer places and taking more day trips. It's a perfect year to explore those hidden spots of Ireland and get out of the busy tourism centers. I have a podcast. It's Ireland's Alternatives to Ireland's Most Popular Locations. So it lists the most popular areas in Ireland, as well as those places that will give you a very similar feel and experience, but just aren't going to have as many people. So do have a listen to that. When you are thinking again about things to do, plan more time outdoors. Ireland is an amazing country to get outside and explore. Ireland is an island, so there are so many beautiful, amazing cliff walks. You're going to find secret beaches that are kind of hidden down these little bitty roads. There's mountain biking, there's hill walking, or maybe you'll just come upon a ruin that time and most people have forgotten. I do have some book recommendations on my website for uh, resources that can help you with that. The Ancient East by Neil Jackman and The Wild Atlantic Way, also by Neil Jackman. And then Felicity Hayes McCoy has a great guide to the Dingle Peninsula. Those are just 3 books that are going to be really, really helpful as you make those plans to get off that tourist trail. And then I highly recommend that you join me over on Facebook. The Ireland Family Vacations Facebook page is where I share news and updates from Ireland as it hits my newsfeed. So anytime I find out about restrictions or lockdowns or reopenings, anything like that goes straight to my Facebook feed, and it can help you keep on top of what is going on over there. I hope you found those tips helpful as you plan your Ireland vacation this year. If you enjoyed this podcast, if you would leave a 5-star review for me at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Android, I would really appreciate it. Those reviews help other people find my podcast. If you can't leave a review on your podcast app, you can leave a review on the Ireland Family Vacations Facebook page, or just take a screenshot from your phone, go into your Instagram account, and pop that in your stories, and be sure to tag me at Ireland Family Vacations so I can send you a quick thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can always email me, Jody at IrelandFamilyVacations.com, and I will be sure to answer. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, slán go fóill.